In the history of the world's greatest freedom fighters, Netaji is a valorous and gigantic personality whose birthday is as famous as his title. And this hero is none other than the pride of Indian history, Subhas Chandra Bose. It is obviously well known to everybody that Subhas Chandra Bose was born on 23rd January 1897 in Odisha, Cuttack, and his father was Janakinath Basu and mother was Bhuvaneshwari Devi. From the very younghood of his academic life, Subhas Chandra Bose was a man of flair of fire in his personality and character. He was a man of strong sense of likes and dislikes, and the thing he disliked most throughout his entire life, that is subjugation. And as because freedom was Subhas Chandra's second name, his mind roared with the shout of the freedom of the nation when our country was under the much repulsive subjugation under the British colonial government. No wonder Subhas Chandra was a meritorious student too. He studied in much prestigious Presidency College in Kolkata and finally graduated from Scottish Church College in 1919. And after this, Subhas Chandra's real journey from Subhas Chandra to Netaji began in true sense. Because by this time, Subhas joined non-cooperation movement, that is, Asahajog Andolan against the British ruler. At the time, India was boiling with the spirit of freedom fight with the leadership of Mahatma Gandhi and great Chittaranjan Das, etc. And as a result, the young freedom fighter sent for imprisonment by British ruler in 1921. And people realized that a prophet of freedom fighting has arrived on earth to fight for freedom and injustice of India. With a strong popularity, Subhas Chandra became a mass leader of Indian freedom fighting and elected as a president of Congress, the only nationalist party of that period. But after becoming the official Congress leader, the ideological conflict between Subhas Chandra and Mahatma Gandhi started. Bose was not satisfied with Gandhi's compromising policy and appealing attitude for freedom. Whereas his own view was that independence is a birthright of human being and that the fundamental right cannot be achieved by begging and appealing, especially to those who knowingly oppress this right, like the British government was doing that time in India. Therefore, he declared direct battle and struggle with arms and ammunition, and trained force are absolutely necessary to conquer the freedom. Thus, Subhas Chandra became a big threat for the mighty British ruler, and they began to feel afraid of Subhas Chandra's strategy, strength, and massive mass popularity. Thus, the British government started conspiracy against Subhas Chandra Bose. Several times, they arrested Subhas Chandra but could not hold him for a long time in British prison. But they repeated this arrestation process time and again. At last, in 1941, on 26 January, Subhas Chandra escaped from his Elgin Road house in Kolkata, where he was kept in a house confinement under strict police vigilance. The fiery fighter escaped in disguise, and then the turbulent freedom fighter rushes to Kabul, Afghanistan, in order to reach Moscow, Russia, and eventually landed on the soil of Germany in April 1941. After so much struggle, at last, he succeeded to create his much-dreamt own army, Azad Hind Fauj, on foreign soil to free the native land. And not only that, in a speech, Why I Left Home and Homeland on July 9, 1943, in Singapore, Bose called for every able-bodied Indian to enlist in the INA and concluded with an impressive demand. I want also a unit of brave Indian women to form a death-defying regiment who will wield the sword, which the brave Rani Jhansi wielded in India's first war of independence in 1857. He recapitulated his words several days later at a meeting of Indian women held under the aegis of Women's Section of the Indian Independence League, that is IIL. It was in 1943 that Netaji gave a whispered call for women to participate in the fight for Azad Hind. Indian women in British colonies across the world were roused into action and grabbed the chance to serve their country on equal terms, something long denied to them. Under the command of Captain Lakshmi Saigal, the RGR became an important and integral part of the INA. Bose's vision of women's empowerment was vastly different from Gandhi's. While Gandhi wanted women to serve the country from within the traditional shape of womanhood, Bose argued women to break not only the shackles of imperialism but also the shackles of patriarchy. The Ranis, therefore, were fighting a twin battle. Netaji saw women as the vanguard of the freedom struggle, and as a result, in 1943, Subhas's voice scattered all over in India through ether. My dear brother and Indian, give me blood, I will give you freedom. তোমরা আমাকে রক্ত দাও, আমি তোমাদের স্বাধীনতা দেব. The entire India shouted with the slogan Swadhin Bharat, complete independence from British. And as he uttered, so he did. For much dreamed freedom fight against the mighty British ruler, his Azad Hind Fauj reached Indian soil at Kohima, Imphal on March 18th, 1944. The fight began. Under the critical consequence of the World War, his Azad Hind Fauj defeated in battlefront. Many of the soldiers and captains of the army were tortured and hanged for death. But by that time, Bose's followers of Azad Hind Fauj already awarded him with the great title Netaji. Meanwhile, Subhas had already formed Forward Bloc Party as a substitute to Congress. His followers and admirers suggested him to escape from British to form a new revolution for a new episode of freedom fight. So our beloved Netaji, in pursuit of a new beginning for freedom fight, while flying in an aeroplane, is believed to crash in Taiwan on August 18, 1945. With that massive news, not only the entire India, but the entire world became speechless. Though this so-called death declaration is still surrounded by heavy mystery, as many signs and proof have indicated all investigators and commissions that Netaji's death didn't take place in that plane crash. It is well rumored that he lived even after the plane crash and lived his life as Gumnami Baba thereafter. Astonishingly, the much awaited Mukherjee Commission report even could not ease out the mist over his death or disappearance. Still, his death is fogged under the conspiracy theory even nowadays. But whatever may be the truth, as I told, a death or a disappearance, the stalwart like Netaji Subhas Chandra Bose never dies. A leader, orator, pioneer, motivator, intellectual and valorous superhuman like Netaji remained always everywhere on earth, in air, in sky, and also in crores and crores of human soul. Therefore, today, even we shout without hesitation to the great soul, তোমার আসন শূন্য আজি পূর্ণ করো He beat